luxury vehicles for 2022 has becoming a huge refresh, and the market for demand on these vehicles are just getting even more successful. The best part is when you get luxury, you're going to be receiving butter smooth suspension, you're going to get some acceleration, and today Lexus of Wesley Chapel presents to us the 2022 Lexus ES 350 in your intimate white pearl. Refresh exterior design, that's what you're getting. Interior is going to have the leather appointed. It's going to be more luxurious. Updates in your infotainment screen. The adaptive cruise control has been reworked as well. Rivals like your Mercedes-Benz E350 or your Acura TLX, which one's going to be the better value, the better luxury sedan? I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides. We're going to go over all the specs and details starting now. Lexus ES 350 is now bringing some excitement to the table. We have the refresh for 2022, and we're going to start off with that grille. It's going to have more performance styling elements, signature L's that are inside this gloss gray with the chrome trim surrounding it, and all of that integrates and pushes into this longer yet flat hood, which just stresses the aerodynamic proportions, and the way everything integrates into these LED headlamps and your signature L daytime running lights just really sets a performance styling. Working down, you're going to get the chrome that's going to surround. The matte black, I wish was the gloss gray that is the insert of the grille, because it would have gave more of that styling element, but I do like how beefy it looks, and it flares out wide at 73.4 inches. Not the tallest vehicle at 56.9 inches, but at the end of the day, because of the length that you have with this hood, it definitely stresses that luxury performance cues. And when we're comparing this against the Acura or the Mercedes-Benz, this one's going to be more of an in-your-face styling, yet luxury to push it off. And the way the aerodynamics just go into the side fenders, it just keeps a nice clean element, doesn't flare out, but it encases these 18-inch split 10-spoke alloy wheels. New dynamic handling package. The disc reading behind it at 12 inches, and your rear is going to be 11 inches. A independent McPherson strut front suspension. Multi-link rear suspension, both the front and the rear will have your coil springs and your anti-roll bars. If you're going to go up to the F Sport, that's going to add the adaptive variable suspension, which is found in the LC, and that's insane because you're getting this type of vehicle under a six-figure price tag, and you're getting that suspension kit. Wheelbase at 113 inches, a length at 195.9 inches. It's going to be a longer vehicle, but this is a large sedan. You would expect that. I like the gloss that's going to be between the windows, and they keep the luxury with the chrome surrounding it, but it's not just regular, it's like a smoked chrome. So the styling cues just really set it apart with the gloss on the mirror cap, and over all of the roof is going to be a pano roof that's all blacked out with the shark fin antenna. Comparing this to the Mercedes-Benz or the Acura, the side profile on this with the aerodynamic cues is going to look a little bit more sport derived instead of just pure luxury. And the way the side integrates into these LED tail lamps with the chrome that surrounds it and just wraps around the whole rear. So again, you're getting the luxury elements with the sport cues. The ES 350 brings it down on the lower bumper with your dual exhaust outlets. I don't like the matte black that's in between. Here, I don't necessarily like the fake diffusers on every single vehicle, but because of the styling cues and we're trying to stress a touch of performance and a touch of luxury, it would look nice to have it going inside to your cargo at 13.9 cubic feet. This is going to be right at the same as the Acura and the Mercedes-Benz. You got your spare tire tucked underneath. There's a pass-through for your rear bench. But because we have dual exhaust and this is the V6, we have to hear that exhaust note. The Lexus ES350 definitely has the styling cues, and it has a good exhaust note at the end of the day, and they back that performance with a 3.5 liter V6 producing 302 horsepower and 267 pound-feet of torque that's paired to an 8-speed automatic direct shift transmission, achieving 22 to 32 mpgs at 0 to 60 around 6.1 seconds, which is basically the same as the Mercedes-Benz E350 or your Acura TLX. Quarter mile at 14.7 seconds. So when you consider the bargain deal that you're getting, if you're going to compare it to Mercedes, this is going to be about $7,000 to $10,000 cheaper, and you get the butter smooth suspension, you get the speed to back it. Comparing it to Acura, it's relatively in the same price or ballpark, but at the end of the day, it's not a Lexus. Let me know in the comments what you think about the 2022 Lexus ES350 as we go into the interior, go over the tech, and take this for our test. Entering inside the Lexus ES350, you're going to receive 37.5 inches of headroom, 42.4 inches of legroom. It's a black leather bucket front seats. Perforated contrast stitching, 10-way power adjustment. They're heated and ventilated for both the front, which is great. Bi-level dashboard to just set the appearance, and it's going to make it more of a luxury styling with the dark wood inlays. Upgraded 12.3 infotainment screen. This is new. It's also touch with navigation. So we have the pinch. We have the swipe. Click into your menu so you can see all the features we have, and you can just use the touchpad to go. We have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, Bluetooth connectivity, Wi-Fi hotspot, Amazon Alexa. Click onto the side, and you can have another projection screen for the passenger side, which makes it easier for them, especially if they're operating the dual climate control. Switch to reverse. We do have trajectory, and the nice part about it is a clean screen. The disadvantage, it's not a full screen. Click here and you can change the viewpoints. It just makes it kind of smaller. You can also take those dynamic grid lines off. You have the touchpad, a voice command, open up in here to another cup holder and some USB ports. You have your CD player, cup holders in the center, a 16.9 ounce water bottle fits with no problem. Push here and it will extend to make it even raise more. You have a palm rest for your touchpad. The gear lever is going to be surrounded with leather. I like the way it looks. Auto hold, which is a nice luxury feature when you're at a stoplight. You don't have to hold the brake when you're at a complete stop. Dual action center cluster. So for the driver, you can open up easy for your wireless charging pad and storage. And for the passenger, they can do the same exact thing. So I do like the fact that it's retrofitted. You don't get that with Mercedes or Acura. Elbows, nice and soft. Leather wrapped steering wheel. 3-spoke multi-function with the paddle shifters, the gauge cluster. You can change your different settings. You can put your navigation, and it goes through an array of information for you, so it makes it very easy for the driver to operate. For the door panel, harder materials on the top with the wood and the contrast stitching. You got the silver memory seat for the driver, the gloss black all over the one-touch up and down windows. They are non-dual pane. Storage, I would say you can fit at least 2 or 3 16.9 ounce water bottles. In that gloss black panoramic moonroof, it is an upgrade. However, it does look super nice, and you know, can open it all the way up. As soon as it opens, check it out in the back seats. For the back seats, I'm at 37.8 inches of headroom, 39.2 inches of legroom. I can fit without any issues if I'm the one driving. I'm 6'3". Elbows are going to be super soft. The back seat feels pretty good. You don't sit at a 90-degree angle, but it's not going to be as much cushion as the front. Cup holders, you can easily fit a 16.9 ounce water bottle. I'd say a 32 ounces max. The floor is not completely flat. You have 2 USBs and a 12 volt with your air vents in the center. For the door panel, harder materials are going to be on the top. You got the wood and the contrast stitching, one touch up and down for the windows with the gloss black. They're not dual pane windows. Storage, I would say you can fit about 2 to 3 16.9 ounce water bottles. The only other thing that I would, complain about is the pano doesn't actually come all the way back, but in the same aspect, it's kind of good because it would be too much sunlight. Let's see how I look in the center. Sitting into the center is going to be miserable. Headroom, no way I can fit. Legroom isn't actually going to be a problem. You could scoot down and make the legroom a problem, so you could fit but for the butt, shoulder, and feet space, it's going to be sharing a significant amount of real estate. I'm blocking the central air vents and your charging ports. So really, I would say this is a 2+2 car instead of a 2+3, especially if you're over 6'3". The main problem is where the center light is in the rear. That pretty much takes away the headspace and it just pushes it down more. But when you sit two adults my size in dimensions, you're going to have a very luxurious ride. The door panels are raised up so it feels more sleek and you feel more relaxed, and I like the way the seats hold you in the back seats. When you are considering the alternative in the luxury line, meaning Mercedes-Benz, even Audi or Acura, this is definitely going to be the best bargain of the three, or four, I should say. As for the styling cues of the vehicle, it's going to be more luxury derived. For the drive, it's going to be very smooth, butter soft is the way I like to pretty much give the definition. And if I am talking about the Mercedes E350, one thing that I was a little upset about with the refresh is in the interior, it's a lot more noisy, whereas Lexus keeps it very composed. So I do like that, and 302 horsepower on this 8-speed direct shift automatic transmission. So 0 to 60s, it's going to be right at the same speed as the competition, but you're getting it super library quiet, which is what I usually define Audi specs. So when I'm talking it like this, it just tells you how much luxury you're getting encased around. No dual pane windows. The width does feel a little bit wider and longer, but it's not too over the top. 267 pound-feet of torque. Here we go. You get a good exhaust note. Still stays pretty smooth. The noise does filter in. I will say, when I'm comparing it to the rivals, it's going to be relatively the same. It's not going to be as quiet once you get up past 50 to 60 mile per hour speed. However, the smoothness of it, even with the upgraded 18-inch wheels, you just kind of go over impurities without too many issues. And I like the steering on it. It is more tight, so it's not so artificial. And I mean, it has pretty decent dynamics as well, and you're going to receive the upgrades in the dynamics because this is the V6, so that way it helps a little bit with cornering and whatnot. Visibility is super easy to see. The long flat hood definitely helps project that the vehicle is longer, because when you look in the back, you don't really realize it until you actually look 90 degrees, and then you're like, whoa. It's looking in the rear view, it looks a little bit closer. Blind spot monitoring, Lexus Safety Sense 2.5 you're getting, so the safety features is pretty much on point, and they have tweaked the adaptive cruise control to make it a little bit more responsive and better. One thing that I have noticed as I've been driving is I tend to put my elbow on the harder materials instead of on the softer materials. So that is something that not necessarily I dislike, it tends to happen. I'm going to check that turn radius and braking. So I'm going to give it a little bit of a hard brake. And you can see you can stop on a dime. Turn radius at more or less a stop point is going to get about 2 lanes. We're going to slow down a little bit and see the 302 horsepower. Here we go. Now, with the horsepower, it is the best in class for the price point, and it's non-turbocharged as well, so you're going to get a little bit more in that. However, the torque is going to be the least when you're comparing it. Now, there is 3 things I like and 3 things that I dislike. If there's anything more than that, I'd be buying this vehicle. The 3 things that I like, Lexus does an excellent job with the suspension. It holds itself really well, very smooth and composed. The steering, non-artificial. I really do enjoy the drive, and it feels more empowering when I'm comparing it to the competitors, because what typically happens, you start feeling the artificialness. And even when you go into the Acura line, they filter the exhaust through the speakers, so you're starting to lose some of that essence. The second thing that I like is we finally got an upgraded infotainment that's touchscreen. It's large, they moved it closer, it's perfectly set, easy for me to use. And even the touchpad, it's not something that's like in the way. When you get into some of the Acura lines, it does have some areas where you're going to constantly hit it. And the TLX updated, that actually happened to me quite a bit, especially when I did the Type S. The last thing that I like about it is how comfortable the seats are. I know it does have a lot derived to the suspension, but the seat quality to it, the leather is very soft. It's firm where it needs to be, so that way it's better for wear and longevity. But for the most part, I mean, they did a great job with the materials that they put into the vehicle. Three things that I dislike has to start with the reverse camera, because it's not the full size of this infotainment screen, and I hate the fact that they do that. The second thing that I dislike about the vehicle is in the center here, it's a lot more materials that are undesirable. I will let it slide because of the price point. I just would have liked to see, you know, maybe some of the wood trim or different inlay material instead of harder materials that are not necessarily known to be rich and expensive, especially for the luxury line. So if we put it into eco mode, it doesn't necessarily make the pedal heavier or anything like that, I will note. And the last thing that I dislike is the headroom in the back seat. Someone tall like me at 6'3", I can't fit in the center, and fitting into the sides is okay. It's not a problem. It does have the better leg space when you're comparing it. Head space is going to be less. It's just, this is not a slope roof design, and it's more derived to this pano roof. I like the pano roof. They just need to adjust it a little bit so you can get a couple more inches of clearance for the center. But all in all, longevity, you're going to have a great drive. It's going to be more smooth and composed. When you start getting around 50 miles per hour, it's going to get a little bit louder. It's an everyday vehicle slash luxury. I'd like to thank Wesley Chapel Lexus for giving us this 2022 Lexus IS 350 for our car review. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Hawkeye community. If not, click that subscribe button. Check out the details, the merchandise, and everything we do here at Hawkeye Rides.